Jacob going to be on the Wu Yang. Chief playing that Pharah. This initial engagement starting here. Dax going to be on that Lucio, so a lot of movement here for UWG. Also Dami on that Tracer, so going to play a factor here. D.Va going to be the tank of choice for UWG. That will be Zio on that. Control point unlocking soon. Antares taking that space quickly, trying to go ahead and get himself settled in so he can get early contention on the point. Zio going to do the same on that D.Va though. Switching over here to Antares, we can see that he is, of course, holding this space, not trying to die. Going to be able to get a kill with the rush there on Levi, a really good one, in fact. Vendetta going down early, going to allow Troy to kind of sit on this site with no worries of that melee from Vendetta. Getting dangerously low here, Antares, but going to be kept alive by Rope here and Jacob as well. Really good job by them. A lot of kills across the board for both sides. But Troy going to be standing strong here on this point, going up to that 5% marker here. Zio able to get another one on Jacob. Rope here coming from the backside, linked up with Chief, trying to keep him alive there, or give him a little bit of health, but not going to benefit anybody here. Braxy, of course, on that Sojourn, keeping himself alive. Antares going down, though, going to give UWG an opportunity to get on this site, get a little bit of their own percentages, and tie up Troy here soon at that 13%. Now, Brax here kind of playing this side off-angle position, though an expected one at that. UWG not really letting him take any free space. Zio there on the D.Va playing more pushed up, trying to stop Troy before they're even able to get on the site here. See Antares switching over to that Zarya. A little more damage now on the table for him. Trying to, of course, eliminate UWG on this site. Though they have settled in very nicely. Zio going to have his ult here soon, though only coming up just on 40%, not going to pop it anytime soon. Jacob now with an ult of his own, potentially looking to use this as an ability to get on site. Chief, of course, going down there. Brax able to get a pick of his own there as well. Levi going down on the Sojourn. Troy able to kind of surround the site here. Kasune rush coming out for Rope. Troy now collapsing fully onto the site. Though UWG going to respond nicely here and continue to hold this point. And now the sole person for Troy on the site, still on this Zarya, somehow still up despite the fact that he's taking damage from everywhere. Now going to be taken out by Zio there, or by Dami there. Zio taking out Chief. Now Braxy taking that same exact position that he had before. UWG still settled in nicely there on that point. Braxy aware of Dami trying to get this off angle and going to respond to it, though Dami too agile for Braxy to really deal with. 91% here for UWG. 96, 7, 8. Now Troy going to flood site, try to get into that overtime. We know Troy has been able to pull off these 99% comebacks here, though UWG going to continue holding this side effectively as they have done, and going to take that first round here. Now, what we saw there from Troy is that they got that early control, able to get that 13% quickly, but UWG responding effectively, retaking and not allowing Troy another opportunity to get on that site. Really effective there by UWG, especially the hero choices. Certainly something that they have practiced, that side in particular, especially that lineup, an interesting one a bit, though of course D.Va not necessarily an unorthodox tank, though I will say we don't see it too much. Of course, we saw Antares going to be picking that Reinhardt early, but switching off onto the Zarya. Rope now on the Juno early here, switching back to the Kiriko. And as this initial engagement ensues here, much like last round, Troy going to be taking up space on this site quickly. Zio here taking damage from Chief, who's going to be on that Vendetta, trying to be more aggressive and in the faces of UWG, as Troy does intend to hold this site and not lose it early here. Chief, though, going to get dangerously low. Antares face-to-face now with Zio on that D.Va. Troy going to be the initial takers of the site, 1% here for them. Seeing how long they're able to hold that, though. Rope able to take one there, take D.Va's mech down. Antares going to finish off Zio, going to send him back to the spawn point. Now Dami still playing on that Tracer through that backside. Jacob falling off the map there, unfortunately for Troy. potentially positioning issue. Chief there, able to get a pick, but Dax going to follow up with another one of his own. Levi, another one now. Sight open for UWG to take. Braxy here on the Symmetra, trying his best to contest the site any way he can, but not going to be to any avail. 31% is what Troy was at as UWG retook. Now, we know that UWG is very effective with these holds after that initial retake, as we had just seen there that last round. So, interesting to see how Troy is going to respond here. Interest staying on that Zarya. Brack, of course, going to be playing that Symmetra still, and Levi able to get an opening pick here on Troy's retake against Chief. Brax here playing this backside, though, going to be taken down by Yentz. It looks like Troy is more fragmented in the way they're pushing. Everybody not really grouping up and more so going one at a time. We see Jacob, Rope, and Antros here. A nice link up for them, though, as they try to push into Zeo here. Chief trying to get aggressive there, but not going to work for him. Jacob going down as well, and Troy really not able to get past this threshold here. That is this door. Antros is playing on 50% now on the board for UWG. Troy struggling certainly to get past this. Rope and Jacob trying their best to keep Antros up. Maybe find some way to push through here with the tank on the board. Chief now linking up with him as well. Braxy with an ult on the board, potentially able to use that here to find some space for Troy onto this Li Yong. Dami going to be taken down by Braxy there. Now finding a way onto site here. Finally is Troy here. 79% though for UWG, trying to take it as quickly as possible as to not allow them to get any more percentages. Braxy able to pop that ult. Zeo, Levi able to pick up 2 picks there though. Chief following up with one of his own here. Teleporting out of the site in, or out of harm's way, better said, Braxy is. Levi going to be picked off there. 99% here for UWG. Troy trying to flood the site best way they can. Antares doing just that here. Braxy Rope following him in suit. Zeo playing onto the site, trying to just get that last little bit. As soon as they can get Troy off this point, able to work that one last percentage in this overtime. They're certainly going to be able to do it. Chief there, able to get 5 kills on his own though. Antares following up with another one. That was absolutely insane. Completely out of nowhere, though the ult did give us a little bit of insight as to what was happening there. Though that was not what Chief expected, I'm sure, though, going to be very useful here for Troy. And now allowing them to be on this defensive going into that 50% here. UWG going to have to pull off a retake as they had done earlier in this round. Dami trying to sneak onto site there. Chief noticing it quickly though. Levi going to take Jacob off the board. Chief here opting to play this site here alongside Ant and Brack. Not trying to let any control get ceded to UWG, though that looks like that is exactly what is going to happen here. Ticking down halfway through that overtime. Troy not able to respond though, as they have been team wiped. And UWG going to take this first game against Troy. We've seen there an absolutely amazing utility usage there by Chief, though not going to be of any avail to Troy. Not going to give them what they wanted, I'm sure. Though we see here now Troy, Chief with that amazing ult. Absolutely stellar by him on this Ashe in the past. Chief going to be hopping back on that Vendetta. Of course, Antares playing that Sigma as we have seen in the past. Now Troy, of course, going to be playing a bit more of a pushback defensive position, though this is the default on Havana. Zeo opting to play that Domina here for the tank. And quite silent here so far. Braxy not really getting out in the open here to peek into UWG. Zeo going to have the opening pick here against Chief. And now we get to see Antares getting stuck there a little bit. Unfortunately, going to be going down soon here unless he is able to kept alive by Rope and Jacob here. Not going to work there though. And now UWG able to get that early tank off the board, or really better said, that early kill on the tank. Going to be very useful to go ahead and secure that first point in a very simple, silent, I may even be compelled to say, first point here for UWG. Taking Troy out very silently. Able to get 2 more picks there against Troy Chief. Jacob going down consecutively. Looping around this backside, Antares still playing that Sigma, trying to play in a bit more of a defended position, not allowing him to be exposed to angles here by the DPS. Of course, Levi looking for those picks indeed. Dax going to be doing the same on that Alari. That support, of course, but still a support that you're able to get damage on. Brex here getting a little bit of damage done to him, though almost able to get that pick there on Zeo. Not going to work in his favor. Dami as well, though able to get away just in time here. Now Braxy playing a little more pushed up, able to get a kill with that dynamite there. Chief following up with one of his own. Braxy here playing essentially the front lines, going to be taken out by Dami there. Antares doing the same, playing this high elevated position. A really good one here for Antares and the rest of Troy to get to play here if they choose to do so. Chief here on this Junkrat playing definitely a bit more of a movement-based positioning style. Chief able to get a pick there, going to be taken down by Dami though. And now Troy essentially wiped here. Going to have to reset as this second point is all but guaranteed here for UWG. Troy here playing this default pushed up positioning. Again, a slightly elevated here above the payload, though still UWG playing that same exact positioning here, matching Troy. Chief getting a little bit in the faces of UWG, especially that Zeo, that Domina. We've seen here, particularly the style of DPS that we've seen, though it doesn't really seem like it's working too well for Troy here, is to put that DPS in harm's way, play it right up next to Antares, even at times pushed up in front of Antares to try to eliminate these UWG players, particularly this Domina early, so that they don't really have any opportunities here to push that payload any further. Though again, as I had said, it's not really working quite in Troy's favor. The DPS going down early, which allows UWG to play a lot more aggressive, a lot more exposed, and go ahead and finish off Antares, Rope, and Jacob. Speaking of those three though, all having their ults on the board, Braxy as well, going to be popping it there. Is Antares not really going to get any value out of it though, as he is taken down by Ghost. Levi following up with a pick on Jacob here. Braxy able to get picked there on Levi, finally end his reign of terror that he's had going against Troy here, and still with his ult on the board. Braxy hoping to get some value out of there. Zeo going to take him before he's able to though. Jacob able to get a pick of his own, and as this payload reaches that third point, just on the brink of it here, as a big battle ensues, trying to hold off this last little bit. Ant switching to that Reinhardt in a bit of a fight there was he, though, going to go down there. Bob coming out for UWG, and unfortunately not going to be able to do much here. Braxy, of course, able to get that last little pick there with his ult, though. Again, 3 points coming relatively easily here for UWG. Time remaining 3 minutes and 37 seconds.
Initiating match.
And as we had seen there, UWG, part of that first little bit where Troy had defended relatively well, they had certainly taken charge there, had took control, and not really allowed Troy much of anything. And that's what I was trying to say there. I blanked a little bit. Reinhardt, the pick out of desperation by Antares there. Hoping, of course, to have been able to hold that last little bit. We know Troy has built themselves slight reputation in the way of holding off a team on that 99%. So again, would have been nice to see another one there, though not going to be what happens there. Rope here switching to this Anya, a little more of a damage focused DPS here, or support here for Troy, trying to definitely get as much DPS as they can. Of course, Antares playing that ball. We know he's played a very good ball here this season so far. Jacob sticking to his Wu Yang, which we know he is very effective on. Braxy going to be playing this Tracer. a staple of his, but not too often played here by Braxy. So nice to see this come out for him. Chief going to stick to that Vendetta after playing that Junkrat. Now Levi able to get that opening pick quickly there on Jacob. Zio taking space immediately as to not let Troy get any of that of their own. Going to able to get a pick there on Chief. Following up with one on Antares is Levi here. And playing as aggressive as they come on the defense is UWG. Rope here, the last standing for Troy on the front lines. Very low, forced to retreat. Antares coming back out on this ball. Going to try to support this effort, swinging around, trying to get any bit of damage he can. Finding Levi tucked in the corner there, though, not going to be able to finish him off. Getting only a few pot shots there, and Levi going to stay occupied in that similar position that he's been playing since the very dawn of this round here. Zio, of course, playing wherever he is needed for UWG. Braxy trying to get out in the open here, find any picks he can. Levi caught there by Braxy for a moment, though. Not going to be something that really changes the way he's playing here. Levi able to finish off Braxy there. Troy struggling deeply here against UWG so far on this payload here. Zio getting pushed back a little bit there, down to half HP now. Going to be popping that shield, though, is Zio. Antares trying to be as aggressive as possible here on the ball, swinging everywhere he can, though. Going to be taken out by Yentz there on the Baptiste. Rope and Jacob, of course, playing a little further back. Zio going to take that space and try to go ahead and finish them off. Braxy here playing this side positioning, waiting for an opportunity to hit UWG. And that opportunity coming now here as Dami comes face to face with him, though. Braxy still not able to get anything done, unfortunately. 2 minutes now here for Troy as this payload has seldom moved. Enter is here still sticking to the ball. Dami able to get another pick there on Chief. And as we see here, the defense by UWG, the setup, positioning, everything, even I'd go as far to say the aim there by Dami and Levi is absolutely stellar. Perfect, may I even say, not allowing Troy any room whatsoever to get any movement there on that payload. Not even able to step foot near that payload before they go down themselves. Antares trying everything he can. Chief, Braxy doing the same here on these front lines, and Jacob Rope trying their best to just keep everybody alive for some kind of opening here, closing in on this 1 minute mark here on the payload with not even a point on the board here. Troy struggling deeply, though. Braxy able to pick up a kill there on Levi, getting Yentz's shield there down as well. A little bit of an opening here for Troy. Chief able to take down Dami. Braxy following up with another one here. Troy now finally breaking through a bit here with 54 seconds on the board, getting this payload on the move, and Troy trying their best to keep this momentum moving, getting in the faces of UWG, though Levi going to pick Chief off there. Antares going to follow suit soon, getting very low there. Braxy here playing this farther back positioning, trying to find UWG as they walk up, though. Not going to be to any avail here for Troy. Dami getting another one there on Rope. Now Troy forced to fall back once more. 23 seconds on the board for them. And still not even that first point there on the payload. Troy here, though, showing life there with that breakthrough. Hoping to mimic it here with 10 seconds. See if they can get anything going here. Despite the fact that the game is most certainly lost here. The map most certainly lost. Still trying to get anything they can done. Chief here getting right up on the payload, though not going to do anything for Troy. And another handy win for UWG. Troy not really able to respond effectively whatsoever. Dami here on the Hanzo with the play of the game. Interested to see what this one was, and I do remember this was a great play. As we had seen there, the shots here by Dami were absolutely stellar. That lineup, as we had seen there on that Li Zhang for Troy here. Braxy playing the Symmetra. We know that he got a lot of value out of the Symmetra. Chief, of course, getting that amazing ult there on the Vendetta. And now early damage here for UWG against Braxy. Braxy switching there to that Tracer after getting that utility out of Symmetra. Now trying to be much more aggressive here is Troy, certainly. Getting in the faces of UWG early here. Jens going to be able to get that opening pick there on Chief. Raider following up with one on Spruce. And another one on Andres. Steamrolling Troy here early on this flashpoint is UWG. And we see here UWG going to take that control here, going on to that 10%. Now going to be playing more pushed up and not allow Troy any room to really get on this site is what they're going to intend to do. Though Troy, of course, we know that they have been able to find their way out of a difficult spot here on this flashpoint in particular. So hoping to see that life come out here for Troy. Braxy trying to get a little bit of a flank here going on UWG, though going to be matched there by McGee. Chief able to get that opening pick here for Troy against Levi on the Junkrat. And going to be met here with Raider Man able to get another one. Now that tank down. Troy having a little bit of an opportunity here to get on this site. Ghost going to follow up with a pick of his own on Jacob. Braxy able to get another one there. Taking that Tracer off the board for UWG. Now going to have to play a little further pushback as they take time to regroup and retake versus Troy here. Chief able to get excellent utility there out of Junkrat. Able to get that Raider off the board. Or that Raider playing that Ramatra. Really, really good for Troy. Antra is going down quickly here as UWG starts our retake. Braxy here, though, hitting another flank as we had seen him done previously. McGee able to take Chief off the board there. And Braxy getting very mobile here, though not going to be to any avail here for Troy. UWG able to take this point back and restart that hold that they had going here against Troy. We see Andres playing that Hazard as we have not seen him playing quite a bit here. We'd seen him play that watch point last week. So interesting pick coming out of him. Chief able to get two there with his ult. I had missed it unfortunately, but really good for Troy that. And we've seen there 99% here, able to find a little bit of room here on this site. Antares face to face with that Ramatra. Braxy following up with a pick after those two by Chief. Though Raider able to get two more here. 3 now against Troy. Flashpoint 1 going to be going in UWG's favor. Now making their way over to that second one, trying to continue this momentum they've built. Troy there showing life, especially that ult there by Chief. As we had seen here, a bit of a common denominator here is that Chief is able to get a lot of utility out of his ults so far here tonight. Able to demonstrate that there as Troy starts their retake here. McGee, they're able to get that pick there on Chief. No utility there, though, coming out of that ult there for UWG. So going to be something that affects them a little bit. Though we see here face-to-face against that Ramatra is Antares. Getting him dangerously low, though, going to get that healing that he needs there. 2 picks now coming on the board for UWG. Braxy following up with another one. Chief here a bit on a streak there. Definitely playing an effective junk right here is Chief. Antra is able to follow up with another pick. Troy starting to capture this point here, and only 40% there for UWG at the time. Troy definitely showing their ability to try to get this point. Chief now with 2 more. Playing an absolutely stellar Junkrat. And this is what Troy needs to be able to keep up here, is this really stellar play, this really aggressive play. Stop the take before it even happens by UWG. As we know, their strong suit is once they get near that site, it is all but guaranteed that they retake it. Chief here able to play a really good game there versus Levi. Going to be taken down by Raider, though. Jacob able to get a pick of his own there on McGee. No Tracer on the board here for UWG. Antra is going to try to play this elevated position. Now this left side position, basically anywhere that Troy needs him to occupy UWG. Chief here with his ult, going to be popping this, seeing what kind of value he can get out of it, giving 1 kill there on Dax. Antras following up with one of his own there on Levi. And Troy, though, giving up the point, having played really well here so far on this second flashpoint. Moving on to 60% here for UWG. Troy slowly contesting it, retaking it now a bit. Though the contestant going to be in the favor of UWG. Brax able to get a pick there. Following up with 2 of their own, though, is UWG. Everybody going down on Troy, though. And Jacob, the sole survivor of the onslaught. Going on 90% here is UWG, 94. And the point all but guaranteed for UWG. Moving on to this third flashpoint. Troy going to try to reposition quickly. Beat UWG to it. And what we need to see here from Troy is that amazing play that we had saw early on there by Chief in particular. With that Junkrat. Braxy also really effective on the Tracer. We know here the DPS not so much the issue. Just the team core play as a whole, not very coordinated so far here for Troy, and UWG's coordination going to play a part in that. Now as they get over to this first flashpoint, unlocking here now. Troy not able to get that opening pick here on the point. Jacob going to follow up. And then now back and forth are the kills here. Chief able to pick up 2 of his own before going down there. Jacob getting another one. Troy here winning the fight so far. Braxy able to pick up another one. Now Troy going to have to settle in on this site, prevent UWG from getting any space here. A bit of a, was that a fire extinguisher? Just moving across the ground there. Interesting there. I haven't seen that before. Now UWG coordinating their damage here as they come through that corridor down the stairs. Chief there able to use his ult here. Not able to get any kills off of it though is Chief. Entrez playing into that corridor, trying to stop UWG before they're even able to get on site. Though they are able to find their way on site. Raiderman is at least on that Ramatra here. Going to respond effectively here is Troy. Jacob finishing off that Ramatra. Now UWG still pushed back into that corridor a little bit. Troy going on 60%. Definitely looking like they may be able to take this point here. From UWG, Braxy here now with his ult. Jacob an ult as well. Going on 80%. Troy definitely going to look to use this utility potentially to ensure that they're able to pick up this point. 90% here for Troy. Going to go down. There is Braxy. Jacob sticking to the site. Overtime here as UWG contests this point here. 99% on the board for Troy. Hoping to try to hold this point this last little bit. Now going to have to do a bit of a retake. Though all it takes is but a second of holding that point to be able to get it back. Though UWG snowballing that percentage here. Going on 20% already. Braxy playing very sneakily here. Trying to make his way on site unnoticed. Not engaging that Ramatra there, as it was not needed by him. And now noticed here by Dax. Able to get that pick there. Really good so far here for Braxy. McGee now in a Tracer battle with him. Dangerously low there was McGee at one point, though not going to fall here. Now 60% for UWG. Troy going to have to find some way onto the site quickly here. As Braxy still playing that backside position, being a bit of a pest in the side of UWG. Not going to be enough, just that positioning. Troy going to have to play well on this front line here. Chief doing just that, trying to push up as far as he can. 95% there, moving on to that 99. Overtime now here for UWG, and as that ult pops there, not able to get any value out of it is Chief. Playing on this point though, contested is Troy. It's going to be very close here to see who's able to get this point. Entrez able to get a pick there though, going down by Yentz, and it looks like UWG may be able to hold out here though. I'm unsure. Troy resetting this overtime multiple times, though it will be UWG holding that flashpoint there. That last little bit. Coming back down 99% there was UWG, showing their ability to retake and switch modes immediately to hold it. Play of the match going to come here by Yentz. Again, an amazing play here by Yentz at that. UWG showing